Hello and welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. Today we'll be doing the player ratings for Everton versus Arsenal. It was 2-1 to the Toffees at Goodison Park. I have with me, as usual, my co-host, Mr. Zohar Khan. How are you doing, bro?
Good man, I'm really happy after this game week. 6-2, United thrashing Leeds, Arsenal losing, me topping the table in our picks league. It's been a pretty good weekend, all things considered.
Yeah, it's been a really good week for you and a very entertaining week in general as well. I picked this game in general because there's two high-scoring games: Liverpool versus Crystal Palace and United versus Leeds. But I picked this game. I just felt this was a really good game to watch, and our other co-host was going to join us, so it was going to be really interesting. But I still think it was a really good game, and there's a lot to talk about for both teams. So I think let's go ahead, man. Ready? What are your
Yeah,
initial
man.
thoughts, bro, about the game?
So, I already picked Everton to win this game. I think that right now where Everton is and where Arsenal are, they're
You
very,
picked
very good.
exactly.
I picked exactly because, I see the future when it comes to these things. I wish it was about more important things that I saw the future, but that being said, I mean, honestly, man, it just shows the difference of where these clubs are right now. Everton, at least at the beginning of the season, were looking like title contenders. They've slipped up since then, but Carlo has them playing, confidently. There's like a clear system in place. There's talent in that squad now. They've strengthened well. They have depth. So there's a lot of stuff that's going right with Everton, and all those things that are going right at the Toffees are exactly what's going wrong with the Gunners. They seem lost. There doesn't seem to be, much in the way coming from the coaching staff. Not to, knock on Arteta unnecessarily, but they do look a bit lost. The tactics do look a bit reactionary, and everyone's talked about, the lack of talent or how the players aren't good enough for Arsenal, and I think it's a question of some players genuinely aren't good enough for Arsenal, and some players are trying, but it's just they're being held back by the rest of the team. It's in a way very similar to the situation that we've seen played out at United over the past couple of years. And I'm really curious to see how much leeway Arteta gets and, how much support he gets as well. So leeway in the sense of how many games can he continue to lose, continue to drop points. I think they're 15th in the league, 16th in the league right now. So just very, hovering around that relegation zone. I don't think they're going to stay there, but you never know, right? At a certain point in time, the board might need to make a decision and be like, you know what, clearly this Arteta experiment isn't working out. We need to, for lack of a better term, we need to get Big Sam, but he's already busy.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think you got you got it spot on. Abraham has he's told me a lot of times that he needs time because it's not just the managers is the problem. There's a whole other issue. There's in the board. I mean, lack of signings, the way they're dealing with bench players, contracts, everything. I completely agree with everything. But at the end of the day, my point of view is that it's a results business, right? No matter how bad or good Arteta is, if he's not providing it, he's not providing food on the table. In this case, points. There's going to be a lack of patience. Fans are starting to flip, man. You can see AFTV, they're half Arteta in, half Arteta out, and that's 90% out. It's not because personal attack on him. It's a results business at the end of the day.
100%.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been so close to the sacking. This time last year is about to get sacked. He came up and got wins against City and Tottenham, and he saved his job. So it's.
But you know what? Let's talk about something just on that note, right? About Ole. Everyone hates on Ole, and the media makes a huge fuss out of it every time we lose a game, every time something happens, and rightfully so. When we drop points, when we lose a game the way we lost to Leipzig, when we lose to teams that we shouldn't be losing to, 100%, I get that. Come for us. I go for us. But at the same time, if you look at Ole's record overall, it's been pretty respectable, and honestly, there's a narrative that you can make the case that he doesn't get enough respect for what he's doing. Sure, he has a fantastic, as he likes to say, fantastic squad. Lots of money put into it, some top tier elite talent, which other teams would love to have. So you have to, of course, accept that. But at the same time, he hasn't been as bad and as doom and gloom as how the media makes him out to be. Plus, every time there's been a bad run of results, he's always rebounded it from it well. So you have to say that about Ole.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's a result. Why is he staying? He's staying in the job because he comes up with big wins. He has tactical flaws. I'm his, I criticize him a lot, right? I have issues, but why does he stay? It's not because of me. It's not because of you. It's because he gets the result. Those couple of results where it keeps everyone calm, especially the fans. And that's what Arteta needs. Like, he needs to beat City in the Carling Cup and he needs to beat Chelsea. Otherwise, it's bye-bye. I think, in my opinion, he has only until New Year's. That's it. If he wins a couple of games, he extends it for a bit. Otherwise, he's gone.
To be honest, I don't think they should look at it as cup competition result because cup competitions are so luck based and anything can happen on any given day. I've told you this before that the
I
league is
agree.
the real barometer for a team's success and what their quality is. And sure, maybe you can go on a little bit of a mini run, you get the luck of the draw, you end up with some decent opponents. It's football, anything can happen on any given day. But I wouldn't like even if he does get wins against City or whoever in the cups. I think really what he should be judged on is his performance in the league. And if the performance in the league isn't matching up with it, they should can him.
Yeah, so then it's just the Chelsea game. I think that game and the Brighton game, those two games, if he doesn't get points in those, it's going to be difficult. But yeah, I think let's crack down with the player ratings for this game. I think there's a really good discussion, some amazing points. But yeah, so we'll start with Everton. So, winning 2-1. Let's go with the Pickford and goal first, his rating and his performance.
Man, Pickford is such an enigma of a player, man. He genuinely has such high highs, but then he has such low lows as well. He's talented, but he's flawed. I guess that makes him the perfect England player.
Yeah.
He today in this game, honestly, he got lucky. He fluffed a few chances. He made him. There's always a mistake in him. He got saved by the crossbar with that shot that David Luiz took. That was directly off a Pickford mistake where he tried to punch the ball out or catch it, and it kind of went nowhere. Couldn't do anything for the Arsenal goal. It was a penalty. It had nothing to do with the concession of the foul. Penalty is if it's a reasonably good taker, that's pretty much a guaranteed goal. He does do things well. He does command his back line well. He does ensure that clear communication across his defenders. But you always feel that there's a slip up in him. I got to give him a 6.5 out of 10 today.
6.5 out of 10. Yes, he's prone to mistakes, man. That's the problem. Again, in this win, you expected a more commanding performance, I felt, but he was a weakness in this game as well. He made mistakes like that. David Luiz one could have easily been punished. But yeah, moving on to the defense, Mason Holgate.
So I'm going to make a general comment about both the Everton fullbacks.
Yeah, that's right.
So both their fullbacks, they're not their regular fullbacks. It's usually Seamus Coleman and Lucas Digne. But, those guys weren't playing today. I thought in their presence, Holgate and Godfrey both did a really good job. We'll talk about Holgate real quick. I thought Holgate actually had the tougher situation to deal with, given he had to deal with the threat of Saka and Willian. And I think personally, Saka is the brightest spot in Arsenal's attacking riches at this point in time. He had very composed passing, decent crossing, and you need that. You need decent crossing when you have a player as good in the air as Dominic Calvert-Lewin. There's no point of having a player with that sort of aerial prowess if you're not able to find them. I thought Holgate did a good job, acquitted himself well. Didn't have anything to do with the goal that was conceded. Maybe could have been a little bit tighter on a few chances. There was an Nketiah chance where there was a huge amount of space left between him and Michael Keane. But overall, I thought he played well. I give him a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 for Holgate. And Yerry Mina with that header, man. We saw him do it in the World Cup as well, like for Colombia. I think bad marking for Arsenal, but I'll get into that with their ratings. But his overall performance, he got the goal as well.
And he was great. I mean, first of all, people forget how big Yerry Mina is. Yerry Mina is 6'4". He's massive.
Yeah.
And honestly, his run to get into position for the second, the goal was delightful. A great header. Should have been stopped by Leno. I thought Leno could have been done better. You can make the argument that at a near post, the goalie shouldn't be conceding, but again, it's near post. It's really close. Not enough time to react. Good header, but fantastic run to get free. Poor marking. We said we'll talk about that, but credit to Mina where it's due. And again, he combines well with Michael Keane, keeps things clean. You have a feeling that he is there. There is a mistake in there that he is there to be exploited. If you can do it properly with intelligent play, he'll get pulled out of position or you can spin him. But today he was a rock, and I give him an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 for Mina. Yeah, fair enough. And Michael Keane?
Michael Keane was massive, man. He is a solid, no-nonsense defender. He made his presence felt in both halves. Got forward to good effect, had a couple of chances. I think he took a shot from far, which wasn't too far away. It was a center-back shot, but still, it was decent. He handled Arsenal's pace well. He combined on the other side with him and Godfrey to deal with Pepe and Maitland-Niles.
Yeah.
I mean, his job is made easier by the fact that Pepe is a 72 million pound flop, but he still had a job to do, and I think he did it well. I think he ate a yellow. Not sure if he did.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't see that in the stats, but yeah.
But regardless, I thought he played well. I'm just basically checking if he hit a yellow or not, man. Because what I say next is dependent on that. No, he didn't eat a yellow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, got forward to good effect, passes it well, composed on the ball, defensively solid. He's been a real revelation for Everton, for Everton's backline. I think he is their leader over there. I have him at 7.5 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10. Yeah, he looks really improved right now, and he's doing a good job. Godfrey, you already spoke about him. Your rating?
Godfrey, man, he's good, man. Like I said, filling in at fullback, good passing option, carries the ball well going forward. I like that about him. Combined well with Keane. Defensively, kept a good job, kept Pepe quiet. Pepe, we've seen that he's inconsistent, but if you give him space, he can do damage. And I think Godfrey was a big reason why Pepe was so anonymous apart from that penalty. I gave Godfrey a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 for Godfrey. And moving on to the midfield, Doucouré, I think it had a really good first half. That nutmeg was really special. But yeah, apart from that, what are your thoughts on his performance?
Bro, I really like Doucouré. Doucouré is actually someone that I wanted at United. I don't know if we talked about it. I was telling you guys, as a central midfielder, Doucouré is not a bad option. I was also hyping up Ismail Assar from Watford, so maybe it was just I was on a Watford binge.
Yeah.
But he did his job, man. As always, tireless running, gives them so much energy in midfield. He's like an engine, breaks plays up, gives them. He's a big dude as well, but he's a big dude, but he's so good on the ball. He's not just a destroyer. He is sort of their box to box guy, if you will. Maybe playing a little bit deeper when Allen and Rodriguez are playing, but killed it today, man. Completed both his offensive and defensive duties. Couldn't ask for anything more from him. I think he played a really good job, and he did a really good job in this game. Nothing spectacular, nothing out of the ordinary. I'll give him a 7 though.
A 7. Yep. 7 for, and then 7 for Doucouré, and then moving on to Tom Davies. Unfortunately, he gave away the penalty, but yeah, your overall thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, man. I mean, he gave away the pen. Pretty much, it was a loose kick on Maitland-Niles. He had no reason to do that, and you could tell right away as soon as he done it. He's like, "Oh man, I messed up." It put a bit of a damper on a good on a good performance. Otherwise, he's the one who actually played the ball into Iwobi, who set up the cross for Calvert-Lewin. For holding to score the own goal, right?
Yeah.
So, but you gotta give a shout out to that, because it's good vision to be like, all right, you know what? There is a runner going in front of me, but let me switch the play out to the other side to create an overlap, to overload that side and create space for my attackers to run. I don't know if he thought that far through, but you got to give him credit for basically, in hockey, it's called a hockey assist, right? It's a pre-assist. It's the pass that comes before. So I thought that was really good. So he does deserve credit for that. But if I'm not mistaken, he ate a card. No, he didn't eat a card either. No, it was. Yeah, but giving away that penalty was soft though, man. You should be doing better. But he's subbing in and filling in a role while Allen's out injured. Good game, but I got to take points off for the penalty concession, so 6.5.
Definitely, yeah, I agree with that, because that penalty could have got Arsenal back into the game. Yeah, and then moving on to Sigurdsson, he gave the cross for the corner.
Sigurdsson, man. Sigurdsson is a very, very smart player. Obviously, Rodriguez coming in overshadows his role, because they kind of play in that same number 10 creative role, regardless of whether they're physically in the 10 role or just on the pitch itself. They take on the role of prime creator. And you saw why, man. That corner he played to Yerry Mina was on a plate, just inch perfect.
Yeah.
He's always smart moving the ball around. He's always smart from set pieces, man. He's always a threat. He elevates the guys around him, and sometimes there is the risk of him getting passed by. But yesterday wasn't one of those days. I thought he played really well. I gave him an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 for Sigurdsson. Yep, I agree with that. And then Iwobi, man, we saw Walcott score, and then now Iwobi assisted. Arsenal's ex-players haunting them. So your thoughts on his performance?
Bro, I mean, you could build quite a team out of all these Arsenal rejects, bro.
Yeah.
Oxlade-Chamberlain, Iwobi, Walcott, all these guys that weren't able to do it at Arsenal, So it's just a question of, is it the club or is it the player?
Yeah.
That being said, I thought Iwobi had the quieter game compared to, let's say, his ex-teammate Theo.
Yeah.
He tried hard. He did he acquitted himself against Arsenal well, did his defensive duties, did decently well coming forward. Should have gotten the assist for Calvert-Lewin, but because it was an own goal, doesn't get it.
Yeah.
That would have probably raised his rating a little bit, but generally speaking, he needs to be more of an offensive threat. He's poor. His crossing was poor in this game, and like I said, when you are blessed with a target man like Calvert Lewandowski, which he's really good in the air. He has the ability to finish, and he's really developed as a penalty box finisher this season. You need to be finding him more consistently, and it can't that responsibility can't just fall to someone like Sigurdsson or Rodriguez. That has to be distributed amongst other players, and I think that's somewhere where Iwobi really should be improving. So it's going to be a little bit harsh, but I give him a 6 out of 10.
A 6 out of 10. Yeah, fair enough. And then moving on to Calvert-Lewin, man. Like, it wasn't his goal, but still, I mean, it wasn't going in, so that's why it was the own goal. But getting into that space, he has the pace. He's had an unbelievable season so far. And your thoughts on his performance?
I love this guy every time he plays. I had written him off, and he bounced back from the dead, to be honest, with this season. Fun fact, he's actually, well, not counting this game because Arsenal scored a goal and he didn't, but before this game, he'd actually scored equal goals to the entire Arsenal team by himself. So if you want to count the holding goal for him, then he's still level because of the Pepe penalty.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did really well. There were a couple of other chances where I thought he should have buried it. He had some other opportunities where he could have done better. But overall, he was really solid. You know exactly what you're getting out of him. He's a jack in the box, man. Pogo stick with hair. But I would have loved to see a little bit more from him. But I'm happy with what I saw, bro. 7 out of 10 for him.
7 out of 10. Yeah, fair enough. And last player for Everton, Richarlison.
Richarlison, man, he put in a shift, bro. Today was a hard-working performance, and that's what I like about this guy. Like, obviously, he's on there to score goals, and he's there to make nice plays, but he isn't afraid of just putting in a shift, putting in the hard work, running tirelessly up and down, putting in defensive work, and it's important. You need that sort of contribution when you have players missing. You need that contribution in big games, especially regardless of where Arsenal is in the table. They're still, it's still classified as a big game, right? His defensive work rate was great. Could have done more offensively. I wish he would have done more offensively. There were a few chances where, he was a little bit slow to react, make the right play. So off his usual high mark, I got to give him a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5 out of 10. Yeah, I wonder maybe it's because it's a strategic thing because Calvert-Lewin's there. If he's the main guy, maybe you'll see him score more goals, but you definitely want him to be more clinical for sure. But yeah, I think that wraps up Everton's ratings. And just finally, your thoughts on Ancelotti and your rating out of 10 for him and his tactics.
Carlo was good, man. I think he had a clear game plan. He knew what he was doing. He was setting up his team to play to his strengths and, maximize Arsenal's weaknesses. It wasn't that convincing a result at the end of the day, 2-1. And, I wonder whether it was a conscious decision not to make any subs because he was happy with the way his team was performing. He felt that Arsenal didn't have a response for them, or it was just something that he might have overlooked. Maybe there were some opportunities to bring on some other players and impact the game differently. So I think once they'd gone up 2-1, especially at halftime, maybe the halftime team talk was to be a little bit more conservative. I'll give him a 7 out of 10, bro. You got the win, can't knock it.
Ancelotti, man, he was available for Arsenal as well last year, so I mean it just goes to show but yeah, I think I agree with you. That wraps up all the ratings. And then moving on to Arsenal, you can ask me. This is the first time on our podcast that someone other than Abraj doing Arsenal's ratings, so bear with us if I'm not as accurate. But yeah.
But I think now we're gonna get truly unbiased ratings. This guy would be giving this Arsenal team 11s if he could.
But yeah, I mean, I might be too critical, but yeah, let's go, man.
Okay, let's start. So obviously, you're gonna start off with Leno. I thought that he should have done better for the Mina goal. I think he's overrated to begin with. I think Emi Martinez was the superior option. Arsenal fans might disagree with me, but what are your thoughts on Leno's performance today?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the goal, I would blame more David Luiz. He's standing still, and then I think it was Pepe and Maitland-Niles who were trying to mark him, but I wouldn't really blame Leno. But man, I mean, you can't really say much about his performance. It wasn't the greatest. He couldn't really do anything for the first goal, that wicked deflection. So I'm not going to blame him for that second goal. Yeah, you have a point, but maybe that's a bit too critical. But apart from that, I don't think it was just an average performance. 5 out of 10 for me.
5 out of 10. Yeah, that seems fair, man. 5 out of 10 for him. So moving on to Tierney, I think he's probably the best of Arsenal's defenders right now in terms of the performance he delivers going forward and also defensively. His crossing deserves more of a result, man. He can put in a ball and a half, and I just feel there's no one on that Arsenal team that can finish. Maybe Martinelli is the solution, but what did you think of his play today?
I think spot on. You got it all correct. It's just like someone needs to be there at the end of those crosses, man. He's whipping in those balls. He's getting to space. He's defending well as well. Going forward, like you said, like, he's doing such a good job, but there's nobody there. There's nobody in the middle. So it's kind of, in the end, it looks pointless. I think he teed up Nketiah well, and he miscued that shot. But yeah, man, like you can't really. And then end of the day, I can't give him so many points, but I think it's like a 7 performance. I think I'm just giving it. I think this was the best Arsenal performance, and just if you look at it just from his perspective, I'm giving it. It might be a bit lenient, but yeah, 7 out of 10. I think.
Honestly, I'd give him a 7, man, just because like when you have like the crosses he puts in the box, when you have a ball that goes through and passes everyone by, as an attacker, you just have to let out a sigh of disappointment because you're like, man, someone needs to get on the end of that, especially as a fullback. When you play as a fullback and you're bombing forward and you're basically making the decision that, hey, I'm going to open up the space behind me because I know that I can deliver on in the offensive end. So to get forward, put in a beautiful ball like that and just see, maybe it's a lack of connection, maybe it's a lack of effort, but to see no one make a run for, no one make an attempt on it, it's just a little bit disheartening. It's like, because that's a very energy consuming play to bomb forward and then put in a beautiful ball like that and then track back to cover your defensive end, and to have nothing happen from it repeatedly. I think it's demoralizing for someone like him.
Yeah, 100%. He did his job basically as a fullback. So yeah.
Exactly. Now moving on to the man who was supposed to be the rock of this new look Arsenal defense. We all know that he's a scam and a half. Chelsea sold them a dud, but my friend and yours, David Luiz.
Man, made a big mistake a second. He was napping for the second goal, man. I don't know what he was doing, sleeping like in the middle of the pitch. That he should be, active. Like he should be active. He should be like, he's the leader of that defense. And that such a big guy's coming towards you. Like you said, he's 6'4". So how can you not defend him? And you're relying on Pepe and Nketiah, who are shorter than you, to mark that guy. Like, this is your job. You need to be there. You need to be more active. I completely agree with you. I think, yeah, he is overrated. I think it was a poor performance. But he had a chance. He got into the position. If he scored that goal, we would give him a higher rating. So I'm just going average 5.
So let me ask you something. Do you think that David Luiz would be better served at this point in his career? Because David Luiz, peak Chelsea years, was an elite defender. But do you think that David Luiz would be better off served playing as a defensive mid as opposed to a center back?
Maybe, yeah,
but this Arsenal team.
But to me, even David Luiz at his peak, if I don't know if it was Cahill with him, I don't remember who his partner was, but even then he had problems defensively. He had issues, like, he's better going forward. So if he needs somebody like a stabilizer with him. You know what I mean?
Right,
that's when he shines, because yes, he'll still do the defensive duties, but he's not as good. He does make mistakes. Going forward is where that's where
you need someone to clean up his mistakes, basically.
Yeah, basically you need someone to come and sweep. So I think that even at his peak, that was the issue. So yeah, I think even now that's the biggest problem.
Makes sense. So you give him a 5, right?
Yeah, I gave him a 5. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to the elephant in the room. I know that Abrar is big on this guy. I think he's trash. I think he's not Arsenal material. They need to send him to the championship. I don't know, bro. Have you seen how much hair this guy's lost playing a center back as Arsenal? You know what I'm talking about, Rob Holding.
Yeah, Rob Holding. I think, yes, the deflection of the goal, you can't blame him for that, but you can blame him for marking Calvert-Lewin. He let him come inside, like, come into his space. He should be commanding that box, commanding that area. So I think that was his fault. Yes, like it touched him wickedly and went in. The actual end part was not his fault, but getting into that area, it's his fault in the first place. So if he didn't come, there's no goal. So I think I would dock a point for that. And apart from that, I didn't see him do much. I don't know why he's made captain. Yes, I know.
He's soft. I think he's soft. He's not like, the sort of player you want, as you said, being a captain, being a center back, you want someone that gives you a little bit of steel.
He needs to be commanding, yeah. I honestly would have liked to see David Luiz or somebody else be captain just to get that command. He doesn't have that. Like, nothing personal against this guy, but like, when you're Arsenal captain, you're a big football club, like you need to command the area. And I think I'm docking a point. I'm giving him 4 out of 10.
I think a 4 is pretty accurate. I gave him something similar in my scoring. This kid, bro, he goes from strength to strength, and he really shows the heart that you want to see from your players. His most recent post on social media really highlighted some of the differences in mentality. That's what some people were saying between the established stars of Arsenal and these young, hungry lions. Bukayo Saka, What did you think of his performance today?
Saka, I think he did a good job. Like, but like again, like last touch, the final product, like he needs to work on that. But I feel there's too much pressure on him, man. Like you can't. He's a young kid. He needs someone experienced in the team. Ideally, come off as a sub. He gets into really good positions. He can dribble as well. He has the pace. But I think there's too much pressure on him right now, and he will make mistakes. Like it, but you can't blame him for that. So I
It's
think
fine though if he makes mistakes. That's a natural part of growing up and developing your game. And to your point, he needs someone a more like he's got the raw talent, and I think he's probably one of the brightest stars on this Arsenal team. He just needs a steady hand to play with him and just help him navigate the wrinkles and nuances of the professional game at the highest level. And
yeah.
Arsenal don't have anyone like that.
Yeah.
But I keep going. You were talking about him.
Yeah, so ideally, like on your point, I think like the Phil Foden situation, something like that. Like Foden has De Bruyne to look up to, Bernardo Silva. He needs something like that, just to guide him. But because you saw, I think he could have finished a few chances. He got into good areas, but apart from that, I think it was a good performance. So 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's the thing, he's inexperienced, so like I can't really blame him for that. But if maybe in someone else, but getting into those positions, you have to give credit to that, and shows that he has talent. Yeah.
And I mean, it then begs the question, right? Should an Arsenal team that is, and if you ask them what their aspirations are, they should be competing for top four. They should ideally be playing in Europe, not Europa, Champions League, right? Yes, they're a ways off from that right now, but if that's the team's stated goals, then should you be depending on a player like Saka so much when you have other players that should be, bearing that responsibility, shouldering that burden so much better? Looking at you, Granit Xhaka, but
exactly, I agree.
I'm with you, man. There's a lot of pressure on the kid. He's going to be up and down, and today was one of those games where there were maybe more downs than ups. But moving on to the midfield, central midfield, Mohamed El-Neni.
Bro, I don't know. I didn't see him. Like he wasn't there. Didn't show his presence. You need somebody in the midfield to boss that midfield. I think it was a very average performance. No, really, not a big mistake or anything like that. But you expect more from him. I think a 4, man. Like you can't be like that absent in a game.
For me personally, yeah, like I'm with you. Like I was watching the game again, and I was like, I just didn't see enough from him. I would have maybe given him a 5, but a 4 is fine as well. Again, he was really anonymous. He's come off a couple of good games, and you would think that he would look to build on that performance. But it also, I think, it depends who he gets partnered up with and how the team is playing in general, which moves us along to someone who I think might be one of the answers to Arsenal's lack of creativity, at least from the deeper position, Dani Ceballos.
I mean, again, Ceballos, the thing is, like, he did get into a couple of good positions in the end and stuff like that, but like there is a gap in that midfield even with him there, man. I think like he could have got into more space, asked for the ball. He didn't do that. Like yes, when he's on the ball, he's decent, not bad, but like off the ball as well. And even with the ball, you need to be more creative, get in those passes quickly. I don't see that from him, to be very honest with you. Like I don't know, man. Like to even this, especially in this game, I wasn't too impressed with this performance. I think it was like an average 5.
I'll make a flip side argument for you just to consider. Now, let's say you put a creative midfielder in front of Ceballos. I would think that improves him massively because it gives him someone to play off of, right? Right now, if we're looking at him as the creative fulcrum, and that's where we're just talking about, just in this very specific discussion. If he is the creative fulcrum, who is he combining with? Who on that Arsenal team is giving him options to combine with and create nice passages to play? Doesn't look like there's anyone really, bro. Doesn't look like there's anyone that can.
That's the problem. So that's the problem. Like I mean, in that game, in this game, Everton game, that was the issue. There was no one like Ozil. There was no creative player. There was no Bruno. If you put Bruno Fernandes in that team, Ceballos will be a decent player. I think. Like he's not that bad. He's a good player. But like I think we expected more from him in this game because there was no other creative player. So that's why I was a bit harsh on him.
So you said you give him a 5?
Oh yeah, I've given him a 5.
Okay, 5 for Mr. Ceballos. And then this is actually one of my favorite players coming up to the Arsenal ranks, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I think this guy's ice cold, bro.
He was playing in Bellerin's position, right?
He was playing in Bellerin's position,
Bro,
exactly.
come on, man. Why the hell is Bellerin playing for the last? This is where Arteta is wrong, man. This guy's much better than Bellerin, man. Come
He's
on.
so much
You're
hungrier, bro.
kidding
He's
me,
so
man.
much hungry.
So when everyone says Arteta is this, Arteta is that, bro, this is a tactical problem, man. Come on. You have a guy waiting on the bench like this. He played well. Like he did an amazing job on Richarlison. Like you were talking about, Richarlison he didn't get into those positions because he was marking him. Like I think he did a really good job on him. He got the penalty as well. I think he did his job as a thing. For me, it was like I'm giving him an extra point because he got that penalty and got them equalizer. Otherwise, it'd be a clean sheet for Everton, bro.
For sure, man.
So yeah, 7 out of 10, man. And bro, I can't understand if this was somebody else making. Yeah, man.
You know when I've been a fan of this guy from? I forget what game Arsenal were in. I think it was a cup competition. They were taking penalties, and this guy stepped up and took his penalty, bro. Ice cold. You know, no issues, no fear. Just stepped up so confidently, dispatched his penalty like he's been doing it for years. I mean, he has been doing it for years as a professional footballer.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm talking about like not fazed by the situation, not fazed by the occasion. That's what they need. And if this is the alternative to Bellerin, give him a run. Give him a run in the team. How is Bellerin consistently getting a start when he has more foul throws than anything else in the league?
Exactly, man. I can't believe it. I can't. Especially when I saw this game, I'm questioning Arteta big time now. Like, you know, there's a lot of issues.
So 7 for Maitland-Niles, huh?
Yeah, 7, yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you why I'm questioning Arteta the most.
Yeah.
How this guy continues to get a starting job. The next guy I'm going to talk about. Bro, if we talked about Chelsea flipping a dud and David Luiz, I think they sold Arsenal an imaginary bridge in Willian. I remember Arsenal man talking a lot of smack after he had those 3 assists in his first games. That's all he's going to do. He has, a 3-year contract? That's an assist a season. That's the average. Willian was absolutely garbage, in my opinion. I think he's a liability on the field. He just doesn't do enough. What are your thoughts on it?
Bro, you nailed it on the head. There's nothing for me to say, man. That guy is just, I can't believe that, like, you know, Arteta signed him. And that's the reason why he's playing him. And again, like, you know, okay, fine, you signed him. You should at least admit your mistake. Okay, fine, it's a mistake. Let me sub him. Let me, like, bench him at least, like, not start him a few games, tell him to improve. And even then, like, okay, fine, you played him, you started him. Why aren't you taking him off? You took him, why? I don't get it. Like, you know, in the 50th minute, he should have been off. Like, you know, he's not doing anything. He's absent. Like, whenever he gets the ball, he's losing it. Like, the guy is.
Make the sub at halftime. Make the sub at halftime. I know
exactly.
Considered a statement, but make the sub at halftime.
Bro, but the problem is because it's his signing and everything. That's where it shows, like, you know, you have that in you. Okay, this guy's my signing. I can't really treat him that badly. Like, I have to show that I believe in him and everything like that. And that's where he's getting screwed, man. And
I'm just checking who came on, if it was Willock or not. I'm just trying to see who came on from. Give me 1 second. Oh, actually, William didn't come off, but
yeah, he didn't come off. He didn't come off at all, right? He didn't come off at all. Exactly. So why isn't he coming off, man? Because it's just showing that it looks to me that he's biased with his players. Like, come on, just because you signed him, like, I understand you saw something in him. Okay, fine, I'll give you that. He got 3 assists. Okay, fine. But then after the last 6-8 games, he has done nothing, and that's it, man.
Zero.
Yeah. But I think. I want to give him a 0 out of 10, but like I'll just give him I think 2, man. 2 out of 10 for William.
The hatred is real.
No, I don't hate him. Like, I mean, it's just that, like, you know, you expect
I think for
more.
me personally, they would have been better off taking off William, playing Martinelli, and then switching Nketiah out wide.
Yeah, exactly, man. But
that might have been a better option. But I mean, these are all things that we say in hindsight. Speaking of Nketiah, started at striker, so no Oba playing. Oba was rested after his massive 1-goal contribution last week. And Laka got some time on the bench as well. So I thought Nketiah honestly acquitted himself well. I've seen him play in youth games. I like him. He had a really in-depth interview with Alan Shearer, which was very interesting to read about. If you haven't, shout out The Athletic. They put up a really good article on that. I would recommend checking it out. What did you think about Nketiah?
Man, again, it's unfair on him. He shouldn't be starting. You have Lacazette on the bench. He's your experienced striker. There's no Aubameyang, but you invest in Lacazette. He's there. Play him. Like, Nketiah got into good positions, but he messed up. Like, and I don't blame him. Like, he's inexperienced. Like, you know, he didn't have that experience to get the ball, finish it. Like, you know,
he might need 5 chances to score as opposed to an established striker that only needs 2.
Yeah, and the weight of expectation is playing for Arsenal Football Club, who are fighting a relegation battle here. So he knows that it's like, you know, playing on his mind that I need to step up and everything. I got the chance. Laka's on the bench, Oba's injured, this is my chance. It's too much pressure on the kid, and I think he should have come off the bench and they should have started Lacazette. I'm giving him 5 out of 10. I don't want to be too harsh, but he did miss a lot of chances. If this was Lacazette or Aubameyang, I would give them less.
I mean, absolutely. If it was a player of Oba and Laka's caliber, you would definitely want to give them less. But it just goes to show that where is Arsenal Football Club at this point in time, that Oba and Laka were not obvious decisions. I don't know why they didn't start Oba, but it's a genuine toss-up between Nketiah and Laka in terms of results, right? Yeah. So it's just like, do you want, if you're going to be challenging for top 4, if you're going to be challenging for silverware across some fronts, is this it? And I don't think it is. You said you give him a 5, right?
Yeah.
5 out of 10 for Eddie. And then moving on to the last of the starters. This man got hyped up like crazy when he came in. Arsenal fans been asking for a lot of patience. How much more patience you want with my man Pepe?
Yeah, man. Like I've been saying this a long time. He's not like, I've seen bits, but like I haven't seen 70 million. Like, fair enough.
He's playing more like Pepe the defender than Pepe the attacker.
I mean, I just see glimpses. Like in the Europa League, I see some good performances here and there. Like I understand that he's a good player, but he's not worth that price tag, and he needs to do better, man. He needs to do better. Yes, he got the penalty. He scored the penalty, and there's 1 or 2 good moments, but like you expect more from that guy. He was your main player on the pitch, and I think a bit more creativity. He wasn't too bad, but yeah, you expect more from him.
So interesting point to note is when you look at his record, because he was signed from France, right? When you look at his record in France, like it was good, but not spectacular, not 72 million spectacular. And I feel the talent is there, but I don't know if Arsenal is the right system for him. There's obviously a lot of pressure. There's a lot of chopping and changing. There's a lot of turmoil. So are we ever going to see the best out of Pepe at Arsenal Football Club?
Yeah, it looks difficult, man. It's kind of like that Pogba situation at United. It's turning out to be like that, and it might even be worse for him because he does have talent, but like I've seen him get benched as well. Like sometimes, and when he does start, he comes off as well. Like I haven't seen him consistent, and rightly so, he hasn't consistently performed. So he needs to. Maybe I understand. Like first year, he needed time to adapt, but now that time is over, he needs to step up, man, for sure.
Yeah, and I don't even need you to perform like a 72 million signing. I just need you to perform like a good player. Yeah, I need you to make good runs, have effort, get into good positions, create chances. The Pogba comparison, I don't think is applicable, just apart from the idea that, are these 2 talented players not finding their feet? Because Pogba is a proven winner at Juve and for France, whereas Pepe is one absolutely
fair enough. But I was just saying, like the situation where like you expect more of Pogba. Like
I get you. I'm just messing with you.
No, your point is like absolutely correct. I didn't think of it that way, but but I think I would give him a 6 out of 10, man. I'm just giving him extra for that goal. And I think I was a bit too harsh on Willian. So yeah, let's go Pepe 6, man.
So basically,
it's an average performance plus a goal,
so
right?
Basically, the way I should be looking at this is you actually want to give Willian and Pepe both 4s, but because you gave Willian a 2, you have to give Pepe a 6.
I mean, to be honest, Pepe for me is a bang average performance. I don't think he made too many mistakes, but I expected more of him. But he got a goal, so I'm giving him a 1
You give him a little bit of a boost for
that.
But
Willian, bro, man, come on. You got signed from Chelsea and everything. Like the manager trusts in you, like you're the greatest player. Like you need to show up, man. At least that's all you have 100%. To do. Like, a couple of assists here and there, like show up. That's
just something, man. Honestly, like in terms of the subs, there wasn't much of an impact, so I'm just gonna lump them all together: Willock, Lacazette, and Martinelli. And if I could just have you make a comment on either all of them as a group, or if you want to do them individually, however is better for you. So yeah, just the Arsenal subs. What did you think of them today?
Yeah, I think they didn't make much of an impact. It was decent. Like they didn't do it. Like they couldn't get the equalizer, so I can't really give them much. I think it was like an average 6 kind of performance. But I really wanted to see Lacazette start, man. Like I think it's gonna demoralize his confidence. Like he's gonna be demoralized after this. Like you're starting Nketiah in front of me. Like I'm your main guy after Oba. So like I think. And
or you should light a fire under him to perform better, right?
Yeah, but unfortunately it didn't. In that, that's what I thought it could have. If he came off the bench and make a statement, man, this is me. But he's also not showing much, right? Like he should have shown that. Like he should have shown that fire. I didn't see that fire in the second half.
I think personally speaking, I think Martinelli is going to be a key player for these guys because Martinelli was good for them last season, and he's been away for 6 months. He had injuries. He's just come back, so it's really. At least interesting for me to see how he kicks on because if he can start performing, there isn't much competition at striker, to be honest. Let's be fair. It's not like you have to make a decision about benching, Firmino, benching Aguero. No, it's like anyone that can score a goal or their grandmother can score a goal. I'm sure Arsenal will be happy to play them up front. So I'm personally really most excited about Martinelli going forward.
Yeah, I mean, let's see how it goes. These guys, there's a lot of talent in that team, but it's just not coming out, man. That's the issue. Like, so I don't know. There's a lot of problems in this club right now, and unfortunately, it's not as bad as the team as the position suggests, but they're in this position, and it's a huge problem.
So moving on to, all these problems with the club. The problems, they have many different sources, but they all, orbit around one central location. The manager, Mikel Arteta, the Spanish Tony Pulis. What did we think of him today?
Bro, like I know, below average performance. I can't believe he kept Willian. I thought he took him off like in the 80th minute, but like you just confirmed that he didn't come off. Like tactically he didn't start Lacazette as well. There's a lot of problems behind the scenes. The likes of Saliba and Ozil also not playing. They're not in the squad, so I just don't think he's handling the situation. I think it's too big of a club for him right now. And
do you think that he's losing the dressing room?
Yeah, 100%. There's rumors that David Luiz wasn't speaking to him like a couple of games back. Benching Lacazette, I don't think that's going to make any. It's not going to improve
make him any friends.
Yeah, make him any friends. Ozil is good friends with Aubameyang and these guys, so it has a side-on effect as well. Like he is losing the dressing room, and with the results, automatically it makes it a very horrible place to be in.
Because for me, like I think the biggest indicator, and we talked about this last time, is the indiscipline. Like the constant red cards. Gabriel getting a red card, Xhaka getting a red card, Neni getting.
Ceballos should have got a red card, man.
Ceballos should have gotten a red. All these things that and that sort of consistent indiscipline. It's not like I came up and I spat on your face, so you're retaliated. No. There is a little bit of retaliation, but you're a professional footballer. You know that there are some players that are going to try and get underneath your skin. Think about Materazzi and Zidane, right? He was there just to instigate. And you have to be smart enough to realize what's happening. And that comes from the coach, that comes from your manager to give the instructions that, hey, I need you to be cool. We criticized Ole for this when he left Fred on with a yellow against Leipzig.
Yeah, 100%.
Why did you keep him on? You know that he wasn't playing the right game. Take him off. He already has a yellow. And I'm with you, man, that responsibility falls squarely on Arteta's shoulders. I didn't know the part about Luiz not talking to him. And obviously, the social dynamics of the team, I don't know as much about that as you or as much about that as Abrar would know. But, it definitely looks like there are some cracks appearing.
Yeah, no, there are issues, and the Saliba and Ozil, it's like it's clear, man. Like I mean, you can see they're not even in the squad. There is 100% issue, and it's the manager's call. At the end of the day, there might be other issues, 100%. But I'm not saying that if you bring on Ozil right now, the whole club is gonna change. They're gonna win the title. But I'm saying there are ways to handle different players, different issues. Even with the current players, forget about those two guys I mentioned. Look at the current players. You're benching Lacazette. I mean, there are things. I think he's really under pressure right now, and it's a results business, bro. I understand he won the FA Cup and he did a really good job, and some people are telling me it's the players, some people are saying it's him. It's a combination of both, because he won the FA Cup with the same players, but at the end of the day, with the same squad, he's doing horribly in the league. And Portsmouth won the FA Cup, got relegated. Van Gaal won the FA Cup, got sacked. So it's not a big indicator of your capability as a manager. Yes, he did a really good job. Credit to him when it's due, but you have to criticize him now, because Arsenal are not supposed to be in this position. No, I love the banter. I love messing around, but man, to be honest, they shouldn't be like 15 for so long. They need to. I don't know if he can turn it around, bro. It doesn't look like. Yeah.
Like I think a successful finish for them this season would be if they finish top 8. I think realistically speaking, all jokes aside, given how competitive the top of the Premier League is, and I'm saying this, that even United has a tough job remaining in the top 4 if we can build together a consistent run of results. Yes, we have a game in hand. If we win that, we go second. But I think things are so tight in the top 8 teams that it's going to be it's definitely a dog-eat-dog league right now. And I think Arsenal, if they can make it in the top 8, I think that would be a success for their season, given how they've started and how many games they've already played.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, like I said, like 2 more losses, and like I don't think no one's gonna tolerate it, and I think the fans will put too much pressure, and I think he's gonna get the sack. If he wins a couple of games, then yeah.
I think Arteta will get a Merry Christmas, but then it's not gonna be a Happy New Year.
Yeah, so yeah, I know. We can only see what's gonna happen in hindsight. Like in the future, we can't tell the future. But right now, it doesn't look good at Arsenal, man.
I hear
100%.
you.
But they won't get. I don't think they'll get relegated. Even though I want to say that to a lot of fans, I don't think they'll get relegated. But at the same time, they shouldn't be in this position in the
Bro,
first place.
Sheffield and West Brom will single-handedly keep Arsenal in the league. Don't worry, because they have got 20th and 19th positions locked up.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
not to rain on Arteta's parade too much, but did you have a score for him out of 10?
3 out of 10, man.
You can show 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10, man. Like tactically, like he should have done something different. Like to be honest, like Arsenal, they have moments in the game and everything like that. But then there are tactical issues which could have been fixed and they haven't been fixed. So like, yeah.
At the end of the day, the buck, stops with the manager, and regardless of what happens, he is going to take some of the blame. Sure, there's players that are at fault. There's all this, that, and the other, but everything's going to circle around, and he also is the easiest person to remove from this position.
Yeah, and I agree. Like another manager will come and he might struggle as well. But right now, as of now, he doesn't have that experience as well, right? Like United backed Mourinho for 2 or 3 years because they knew like this guy won trophies and everything. But at the end, it became sour. But with Arteta, we don't know, right? Like he was an assistant coach. Everyone talks about him that he has good tactics and everything like that, but he's never managed a club. So
exactly, like it's one
you
thing
don't
to
have
focus
that.
on
Bro, to be honest with you, if you're like they should have backed Emery longer. Even then the results were things, but he was a proven coach. This guy is not a proven. So if you're not getting Emery time, I don't see why you should give this guy time. That's my simple thing. I can be completely wrong. Arteta can come and change it around, but
no, I'm with you on this, because I said this about United's recruitment policy when it comes to managers. I'm like, you can't be chopping and changing managers every 2 years. You need to give them a little bit. And I understand that the game has changed, and it's not on vogue to give managers 5 years to figure things out. But all the best managers, bro, they need time. Sure, some of them will deliver instant results, but even Pep, when he came in with all that financial backing, didn't win until his second year. Klopp got good financial backing, smart recruitment. He's a fantastic manager, but he didn't win anything either in the beginning. It took time for him to get to where he needs to go. I think Arteta could still go on to be very successful, but he needs the supporting of the board, the backing of the board, and he needs time, and they need to make a clear statement about that. Just like Ole, it's clear that regardless of the ups and downs, for the most part, he has the support of the board. They are picking him as the man to lead United forward for the time being. I feel that same sort of confidence coming out of the Arsenal camp, and it isn't there right now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about. We'll continue this. I think when we get Abrar back, it will be interesting to see his views, because I mean, he's supporting the club. I know he's going to be positive backing the manager, but it'll be really interesting to see. But there are some serious issues there. But yeah, apart from that, I think we summed up the player ratings and everything. It was really good to have you. Some really good points, man, Zo, and hopefully I'll catch you soon.
Yeah, sounds good, brother. Speak to you soon.
All right, man. Take care.